It was odd being back in Gamid's East City. The relatively open streets of mud let one travel unburdened, and the infrequent fly was quickly dealt with. Here, though, it was difficult to get anywhere, no matter how big they made the streets. Bugs of various sizes and constitutions bustled from one location to another. There were the occasional wildling drivers who guided feral bugs through the streets, pulling behind them wagons of varying designs. Those bugs usually had a makeshift wooden cage on their face to stop them from eating anyone. On occasion, however, it didn't work, and the beast would go on a feeding spree until the guards of East City killed it. Besides the wildlings, there were also a growing group of bugs who chose to act as transportation. Those creatures, normally large beetles, quickly became the most in-demand means of transportation amongst the wealthy. Dim could make a fortune here, Klip thought, after hearing how well these non-wild bugs did in their transportation business. What was more, the larger creatures could simply walk over the bustling traffic to get to their destination. Besides the ground travel, which were mostly beetles, they were not known for a skilled execution of winged abilities. There were also more flying options. They were still very much wild insects, but the occasional wild bug was found that did not eat others, while still having some proficiency at flight. These were harnessed together and tied to a makeshift cart behind them. Klip had flown once before, but that was for free. He doubted he would ever be able to afford one of those cart rides. Only the very wealthy took them. The rental, as Klip called it, was a tall, unassuming wooden structure. That created problems for Klip when he was asking to rent it. The landlord gave quite the resistance to Klip since he suspected Klip of other intentions with the wood other than simply living in it. Once Klip made an offer, the landlord finally buckled. "You take it, it's yours," the landlord said. "I could buy 2 with all of this." Klip was actually quite fond of the wooden door. He looked around as he approached the entrance to catch anyone watching. Secrecy here was of the utmost importance. The door opened easily. As Klip and Quill stepped into the darkness, the door was shut tightly behind them. A large pair of crickets stood at the entrance. They were much stronger looking than Klip was. "Time to pay up, Master Klip," one of the crickets said. She held out a claw, but wasn't sure where Klip was. Klip retrieved a bag of mineral from one of his chest pouches and gave it to her. Klip guessed that the silence that followed, as the guards inspected the mineral bag, was a good omen. "Thank you for your help," Klip said, guiding Quill back to the second chamber, leaving the guards to inspect the mineral and bolt the door so no one else could follow. "They weren't expecting that," Maki said. "Then they're fools," Klip thought back at Maki. "That's what I told them they were here for." "They didn't believe you," Maki said. "They thought you wanted—" "I know, but they probably didn't realize that we're family," Klip thought. "Much to the surprise of Piper," Maki said. "And me." Klip didn't have a response to this. He only felt troubled. The problem with having someone who could hear your every thought was that they could hear your every thought. Even instincts could betray you. Thanks to the constant monitoring from Maki, Klip had developed a way of feeling a certain way without thinking it. It was the only way he was able to cope under the impetuous observations. Feel, but don't think. But that was easier thought than just felt when it came to Piper. "What are you thinking of now?" Quill said. "Is the voice advising you?" "He was saying something about the guards," Klip said. "Come, review the potions with me. I want to see if we can spare any for demonstrations." The building on the main floor was one large room. The floorboards had been pulled up and stacked neatly on the side of the room. Etchings made by the termite workers covered the walls. Klip did not know what most of the symbols and pictures meant, and he never took the time to ask. All the floorboards were removed for an obvious reason: flowers. Rows of blossoms filled the room beyond capacity. A small space behind the massive flower garden became bare, but it was too far back to see from the front. On the right, after entering, there was a staircase. It led up to a balcony and in turn gave access to a collection of rooms. Klip led Quill through the flower garden until they arrived at the back of the large structure. The boards that had once covered the ground here were made into a makeshift fermentation area. The fermentation room was busy and in constant movement. Unlike Dim's old garden, Klip only focused on 3 potions, and therefore 3 flowers. Mender Potion, which was red, Iron Beetle, which was silver, and Hefty Bug, which was green. While reviewing the different batches, the potions became more bright and vibrant, and even glowed as they were fully ripened. "I don't see how we have any to spare," Quill said, completing his second count of the batch. "Flies," Klip said. "Watch your language," Quill said. "Yeah, watch the language," Maki said. "Klip!" came a call. Sammy bustled from across the room. Her shiny red shell peeked out from under a maroon cloak, both contrasting with the rest of the room full of green flower stalks and yellow, orange, and white flowers. She hurried over to Klip and gave him a tight hug. He returned the hug and smiled. "Did you get the Reaver's help today?" she said. "No," Klip said, "but Quill says there is hope. When we get the potions to Mud, as soon as they are ripe, we should be able to earn some trust." "Hopefully," Quill said. "It's too bad the original potions have run out. If we just had one example, I'm sure we could prove ourselves. These are difficult chancellors to deal with. I don't know of one that is easy to deal with, actually. They are trying to play some political game." "How do you know who's winning?" Sammy said. "At the game, that is." "Playing their games is a losing strategy, my dear Lady Beetle," Quill said. "There doesn't ever seem to be a winner." "Have you seen your sister?" Klip said. "Yeah," Sammy said. "She's in her dungeon." "Dungeon?" Quill said, voice raising and looking at Klip. "She asked the termites to dig her a room of her own," Klip said. "She gets a kick out of calling it her dungeon. She doesn't want to tell us what she's doing, but I think she's growing something in there." "An adventurous spirit, that Maymay is," Quill said. Sammy nodded. "Sammy," Klip said, "there's something I've been meaning to tell you." "Okay," Sammy said. "I do have to make sure the termites are on time for watering and rotating the lights. I have to summon them from Maymay's dungeon." "That's fine," Klip said, "but we're going to have a guest for dinner tonight when I get back." "Back from where?" Sammy said. "Don't mind that," Klip said, "but we'll have a great meal and get to know our guest. I'll need your help convincing Maymay to come meet the guest, if she puts up a fight. I know she's hard at work on something in that room, but it's important to me that she meet the guest." "Fine," Sammy said, flicking her cloak, "but we'll go shopping after the visit." "Or even during," Klip said. Sammy clapped her 4 claws together and skipped around, flourishing her cloak and squealing for joy. "I'd like some new scents," she said. "And there's this new silk I saw out the window I'd love to try on." Klip smiled. "We can do it all," he said. "Do you think we can go flying?" Sammy said. "Maybe," Klip said. "I'll take a maybe," Sammy said. She ran to the back of the building. The ground was sloped there, obviously dug that way. That led to a tunnel at the end. Sammy vanished into that tunnel, singing Maymay's name. "You certainly know how to get her excited," Quill said. "They aren't allowed out of the building," Klip said. "Not in this city, anyways. Especially not as Lady Beetles." "What was it like growing up as a cricket?" Quill said. "Most were scared of me," Klip said. "Any cricket was a son or daughter of the cricket. No one crossed Maki. He was a hard master. I'm still surprised he's gone." "Did you ever find out who killed him?" "No," Klip said. But he probably deserved it. He wasn't good, Quill. The question is now, who is in charge of the hungering in East City? Come to my office. I want to show you something. Despite a few missing steps, the staircase was still left in working order. Klip and Quill walked up that staircase to a collection of rooms on the second floor of the building. Choosing one of the rooms, Klip entered. He made his way to a desk with 2 lampflies in an open lamp. They both brightened when they saw Klip and filled the room well with light. Klip slid a pile of letters to the side. Each bore Dim's seal. Klip retrieved a key from his pocket and used it to unlock a drawer. He set the key on his desk and selected a single letter. The seal was already broken, and the edges of the envelope showed greater signs of wear than any others. "He found me, Quill," Klip said. "He's a hard creature to avoid," Quill said, his expression darkening. "I've tried to follow up on him in my spare time. Most seem deliberately sparse with information, unless you compliment their cloaks, that is. What does he want?" "Just listen," Klip said, unfolding the paper to read. "My dearest Master Klip, you leave Mud behind and decide not to tell me. I must say, quite the disappearing act. Still, not executed very well. It was obvious you would come to my city of Gamede. I welcome you here. If you wanted to avoid me, why continue wearing my cloak? You obviously wanted me to find you again. I have 2 matters of business to cover with you. Forgive my brevity. You've been absent for quite some time, and I doubt you have received my previous letters. First item. Maki, your father, is dead, as you likely knew. That leaves his slice of the hungering in Gamede's East City open for the taking. I've tried to replace him, but it has proven difficult. All the same, I'd rather not get used to just any Hunger Lord. So, I'd ask that you take his place. It would be excellent timing, seeing as you are established in East City already. I'm sure your daughters would love the new accommodations. It would suit them much better than that shack you are now residing in, and guarantee some level of safety. I understand you may be opposed to this, however, consider the utility of this responsibility. The hungering will persist in the East City. We cannot stop that. Not easily, anyway. We certainly cannot do as well as you did with the peacekeepers and Mud. What we could do is control it. It has its uses, after all. You would find immense power to keep those you love safe. You know this power better than I. After all, it's how you were raised. Now, for the second item of business, I'll risk being repetitive and refer you to the physician I have heard of. Again, they call him Dr. Edward. Ed, as I have come to know him, has quite a research project on crickets. It proved difficult to find out much more than that. I saw you talking to yourself the other day, still, and thought that Ed may be of use to you. I have not met him in person and know little of his research, only that he has a large staff, is quite successful, and has had a number of breakthroughs in medicine over the past few years, more than any of his colleagues. He's likely worth a visit. In your absence, I have sent many letters only to receive none in return. My new ink has increased in cost lately, so I assure you I write at my own expense. After all that we've been through, it would be a shame to sever our open line of communication. Cordially yours, Nax. Him, Quill said. You cannot see Dr. Edward. He's deep in the politicians' pockets. I've heard nothing good of him. He doesn't even practice good science. Sure, he's had some breakthroughs, even important ones, but still, something about him doesn't feel right to me. Everything he's entangled in politically seems rotten. Why would you be seeing a doctor? Maki said in Klip's head. I can look you over right now. You have nothing wrong with you. You're quite healthy, in fact. Maybe you're right, Klip said. And that nonsense of joining the hungering as a hunger lord. Quill spat on the ground. That is what I think of that. We cannot be what we seek to destroy. Yes, I know that is why you are here. You've not been the same since Mesha. You were looking for a way to come back here. I don't know what you have planned, but I don't like it. I don't have any plans, Quill, Klip said. That letter is over a month old. I never responded, and he's kept his word. Oh, Quill said. Well, good. You aren't telling him everything, Maki said. Thanks for the concern, Quill, Klip said. I just wanted to make sure someone else thought of this the same way. Do you have another political visit to make any time soon? No, Quill said. I have to set some follow-ups with the chancellors we've already had dealings with. I doubt any will see us, but we can still try. Fine, Klip said. Well, I need to work on a few things. Thanks for your help today. I will be in touch soon, depending on how things go, Quill said, shuffling out the door. I don't like this, Maki said. You're not telling Quill something, and you're hiding it from me. I don't know how, but you are. I can tell when you aren't thinking, which makes me know you're trying to keep things to yourself. Don't worry about it, Klip thought. You're thinking of going to the doctor, Maki said. Why? Klip had to just feel the surprise and not think it. He thought he was doing so well. It doesn't matter, Klip thought. But we'll go see the doctor, and we'll do it before dinner.